Okay, fellas, it's time to wake up. What you see in front of you is actually a YouTube channel pretending to be an actual news station. Don't get it twisted. A lot of people see this and think it's actually a real station when it's not. Okay, let's go forward. They edited in a clip here as if they're actually getting the news live, and really it's just a clip that they took from a news agency off a news feed, or probably just off TV. Someone emailed to them from the TV. Excuse me. Let's go forward a little bit more. The girl's talking. Then they do a split screen thing. Really easy to do. There's a long pause between, so you could tell that this is all staged. They're not actually talking as you might think they are. Okay.
Scotland. We just showed a report about many people in Scotland's desire to secede. And, this is not an unknown region of the world, and yet we have heard almost nothing about their plans to try to break away from the rest of the United Kingdom. It seems like kind of a big deal to me. I'm wondering, I want to get your take. Why has no one in the mainstream media talking about this?
Because the Queen of England is like the Queen's a lot of stock in British Petroleum and those tens of...
Okay, so we got Alex Jones here, and a long time ago I started listening to him, and I quickly stopped. It's not that his vocal cords are blown out from him screaming that turned me off. It's the fact that he's an attention whore. He does this. I get a feeling for people. I can see into people, okay? And he does this for the attention. That's why he's pushing this whole thing he's pushing. He's addicted to attention more than anything else. I'm sure he's honest in his search for truth and all that kind of stuff. But remember, it's also slanted from his own viewpoint. So whether or not you're getting the truth, the real truth, is up to you to find out for yourself. Because what comes out of his mouth is slanted from his viewpoint. I'm an African American. He's a Caucasian male. Okay? So what he's going to see, I would not necessarily see the same thing. We have different perspectives, different ideologies, different agendas, if I can use that word. So as I said, it's time to wake up, people. It's time to wake up. Time to look a little bit deeper and do your own research. Okay? Do your own research. There's tons of information out there. I'm watching a very good program right now titled, Why Are They Spraying the Skies? Let me see if I got that right. Why in the world are they spraying? And this has to do with the chemtrails that's going on. I was complaining about this about 3 or 4 years ago. I noticed since I moved out of the downtown area, I don't know if it's a coincidence, but within a year, if you guys go back and listen to my old podcast shows, you notice my voice is gone. I was all raspy and stuff. My lungs were getting so bad that I couldn't tolerate when the heater in my house was on. I now sleep with my window open at night for fresher air while the heater is on. But it got so bad to where I got exposed to some flooring next door that was taken out of office that had mold in it. I picked up one load of it, put it in my truck. Second load, put it in my truck. By the time I got to the third load, my lungs hurt. And they've been hurting ever since. I used to teach the hardest aerobic classes here in Sacramento. I mean the hardest. Okay? I was an aerobic monster. That's why I weighed 159, 160 pounds back then. For my lungs to disintegrate the way they have done said something. So I began to search for answers. And I found out about the chemtrails. Because I was looking up at the sky and saying, what the hell is that? What are they doing up there? And as I said before to many people who argued with me over this back then, and now we got documentaries coming out on this stuff and people, experts coming forward saying it is going on. Now that this is actually happening to you knucklehead and you dumbasses that argued with me a long time ago, you need to do your research now. Now we found out they're putting shit in the atmosphere. Ain't that a bitch? And I wonder how many other African Americans are coming down with sarcoids or sarcoidosis as a byproduct of what's going on up there. As my aunt, who's barely hanging on to life right now, said, it's in your environment. It's in your environment, Chris. That's why I began looking at my own environment at home. Okay? I knew I was exposed to this toxic mold, or whatever. And by the way, I kept complaining to my doctors. I had a whole panel of doctors I was seeing. None of them would believe me, fellas. Not one of them would believe me. From the Jewish lung specialist from New York to my primary doctor. None of them, and the other people I saw, none of them believed me. Okay? When I was complaining about it. So anyway, do your own research. That's my point. I'm not going to go into my bullshit, because you guys don't hear that. Do your own research. If you're African American and you're suddenly coming down with asthma, that's why. If your kids are getting ADD all of a sudden, that's why. Okay? Go watch the show. Again, the title of the show is Why in the World Are They Spraying? And apparently they're trying to do some type of, well, it's been done before. China did it. Russia was experimenting with it. But geoengineering. Now, I don't mean to get racial here. The reason why they're trying to do geoengineering is because it seems the planet was starting to put more radiation on the Earth than average. And there's one group of people who lack melanin, whose pineal glands are calcified, so they do not produce melanin. We're talking about, no offense to my white brothers out there, but we're talking about your family, your tree. You guys are the ones who are most in danger of that. But you guys are the ones who rule the planet. The next people down from that are the Asian folks. They have white skin too. Their bodies do not, most of them do not produce melanin. If you look at Chinese, they tend to be white-skinned, if not just with a slight yellow cast. Japanese, they're like the whitest people on the planet. I live there, okay? Whitest people on the planet. They have pale white skin. So these two people, groups of people, are highly affected. Nature has a way of fighting back. When the energy on the planet is getting disrupted, nature is going to fight back. For years, I said the reason why AIDS came out, and I don't believe AIDS was a manufactured disease just to kill off black folks. But I always believed that because the energy of the planet was getting disrupted, suddenly we got AIDS that came out. And what group of people did it attack? Exactly. That's where that disruption was coming from. Too many of them, too many people were converting to that lifestyle. Okay? I'm not talking about the natural born ones, but back in the 80s and 90s, guys were just flipping out left and right. Girls were switching over left and right, and they still do. Oh, a man hurt my feelings. Oh, my man cheated on me. I'm going to go become a lesbian. The planet is based on a numerical system. Yin and yang. 0 and 1. 0 and 0 creates imbalance. 1 and 1 creates an imbalance. I'm talking about energy. So when there's too much of one energy, the planet has to balance it out. There's too much energy coming from two groups of people who are now the power people on the planet, Caucasian folks and Chinese folks. What's happening? Look at it from an energy standpoint. What is the planet trying to do? We already have seen a 0 birth rate in one population and overabundance in the other. You see the imbalance? Planet trying to balance everything out again. Or let's say metaphysical energy likes to remain in balance, and the metaphysics is trying to balance itself out again. And of course, both races are fighting back and trying to control the planet. You cannot control the planet. The planet can wipe us out. You cannot control nature. Nature can wipe us out. We've seen the devastation that nature can do. And yes, some of it, in theory, by some people, believe that it's man-made and man-caused. I can support that also. But also, nature has had a hand in everything. You cannot fight nature. Am I saying that these two groups of people don't belong on the planet? No. I'm saying there's an imbalance there. Okay? I don't mean to be racist, but it is Caucasian folks who are destroying the planet. It's not black people out there tearing down the forests and stuff like that. Okay? Yeah, we're over here in America living off the products of all that too. Okay? I take responsibility also. But let's look at who's the one who's out there creating all this stuff and doing all this stuff. It's predominantly one race of people destroying the planet. So the planet is trying to balance itself out. So we can all live in balance. Something out of balance tends to topple, right? So when you look at it from that standpoint, not from a racial standpoint, but just from a balancing of nature standpoint, then you begin to understand what could be going on the energetic level. Never mind, let's not look at what's going on within, us fighting each other as races and all that kind of stuff. Let's look at it on the energetic level. Okay? Then you begin to see. Peace.